What's up, guys? This is Joe with McPicks, here to break down UFC Fight Night. Jared Cannonier taking on Sean Strickland, and we are back at the UFC Apex, this smaller octagon. As of right now, 14 scheduled bouts, so it should be a good one. Yeah, the UFC actually did a pretty good job this month about stacking up the cards. Obviously, we had a pay-per-view event, but the two Fight Night cards, including this one, some really beefy matchups. So, looking forward to it. If you guys don't mind, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And let's get right into it. First fight is Sergey Morozov taking on Journey Newson. Sergey is the big favorite. He is coming in at around minus 270 to minus 280. Come back on Newson around plus 230. I The pick's going to be Morozov here. I just think that he's a little bit too big of a favorite based on his durability. I mean, we saw him hurt in his last fight against Paiva. He's been finished in 80% of his losses, 4 to 5 losses, one knockout, 3 submissions. In his last fight, he pretty much, not his last fight, his 2 fights ago when he took on Silva de Andrade, he got club and sub pretty much. So I favor him here all around. I like his work rate. He's really well rounded. And, Newson, he's a good jiu-jitsu guy, kind of low volume. Doesn't do anything especially good. That's why I agree with Morozov being the favorite, but it's just his durability that concerns me. So I think that there's more value on Morozov by decision. Newson seems pretty tough. He took a head kick from who was it, Randy Costa, that knocked him out, which would have knocked out most people. And then he was finished once more early on in his career. But I think he's a pretty tough guy. So I think the best bet for this fight is going to be Morozov by decision, which can be found in the plus 150 range. Next, we have Manel Kape taking on David Dvorak. Manel Kape is lined at minus 240 to minus 250. Dvorak plus 200. So the pick's going to be Kape here. I posted on my Twitter. I think the speed and athleticism advantage is going to be very apparent here against Dvorak. Dvorak's solid. He came into the UFC in a huge win streak. He's really technical. He doesn't really make mistakes, but I just think he lacks that like explosiveness, that athleticism that Kape has. And he hasn't really fought anyone really in the UFC so far. Let's see who he's taken on. So he fought like a UFC newcomer on short notice, Ronderos. He got beat up bad by Nicolau. I mean, no shame in that. But you look at Kape's fight with Nicolau. I thought he won it, but it was a really close fight. He beat Dvorak beat Espinosa, Bruno Silva, who's not bad, but the level of competition is just night and day. Where Kape came from a good regional, not really regional, but a good organization. And then he in the UFC debut, he took on Pantoja. He just was I don't know, it just didn't seem right that fight. Kind of new to the UFC, different setting. And then Nicola, I thought he won, and then he's kind of coming into his own his last couple of fights against Ode Osborne, knocked him out in the first. Same with Jalga Sumagulov. I also think that Kape is the more durable guy. I don't believe he's been knocked out. Never been knocked out. It seems like his downfall in the past is his grappling, but he seems to kind of tie that up. And Dvorak is a predominant striker, although he has a couple submissions on his record. So the pick's going to be Kape here, and the best bet will be Kape on the money line. I think he's a pretty good parlay piece, or if you want to play him straight. Next, we have Brian Battle taking on Renak Fakhretdinov. Brian Battle is the underdog. He's sitting at plus 115. Comeback on Fakhretdinov is minus 135. I believe Battle is taking this on 2 to 3 weeks short notice. But either way, I'm going to pick him to win here. I like his striking. Really good output, good work rate. He has solid cardio, and he seems like his defensive grappling is getting better, and he also has pretty sneaky jiu-jitsu. He can threaten with submissions. He fought he's definitely fought a better level of competition. And even in the Ultimate Fighter, he took on um, Andre Petrosky, and he faced a little bit of adversity in the first round, but second round came back and ended up submitting him, which is definitely a good look because Petrosky's had a lot of success in the UFC so far. You know, Ronat coming in with some questionable level of competition. He is relentless with the grappling, but if Battle can stuff some of these takedowns or just work his way up, which he has a really good get up game, I think he's going to fatigue Fakhretdinov, and Battle definitely has the advantage on the feet. Fakhretdinov kind of wings his punches, he's not that refined on the feet. So I can see Battle facing a little adversity early on, but as the fight goes on, if he's able to stuff the takedowns or even just get up very quickly and create space, I think he's going to wear on Fakhretdinov and kind of piece him up on the feet. So the best bet's going to be Battle as the underdog on the money line. Next we have Rafa Garcia taking on Mahashate. Um, this is a close fight. It's and the line indicates that. Let's see. Rafa Garcia is a minus 125 favorite. Mahashate plus 100 thereabouts. Um, I like Garcia here. Um, he's been in the UFC a little bit longer. He's fought better competition. He has a grappling advantage. Definitely is at a striking disadvantage, though. Mahashate's the way bigger guy too. Let's take a look at the difference in height. I think uh, Rafa Garcia is around 5'7", with Mahashate, let's see, 6 foot. So pretty big, pretty substantial height disadvantage. And it's a pretty binary fight. Mahashate is going to, have the advantage on the feet. Rafa Garcia is going to have the grappling advantage. And he's a pretty active wrestler. 3.87 takedowns um, landed per 15 minutes. It's pretty good. But he's kind of a punching bag. He got pieced up in his debut against Nasrat Haqparast, but he's super durable. Let's see. I don't think he's ever been finished. No, he's never been finished. He has 3 decision losses. That is Garcia. Um, but I'm just going to go with Garcia just because I favor the grappling of him. And I don't think we've seen much of Mahashate's defensive grappling. So if he's able to get takedowns and just he's more of a grinder, Garcia, and he can wear on Mahashate, I think he could wear him down and get some control time. So I'm going to go with him. Best bet is going to be Garcia on the money line. Okay, next we have fantastic fight. I don't know why this is on the undercard. This should, without a doubt, be on the main card. We have Said Nurmagomedov taking on Said Yukub Kakramanov, and I am surprised I was able to pronounce that correctly on the first time. If I pronounced it correctly, that is. Um, yeah, this is a great fight. I mean, I posted on Twitter. I think that the line, or at least I thought that the line's going to get wider as we get close to fight time, just because of Saeed's last name in Nurmagomedov. The public loves betting Nurmagomedovs, and I guess it's rightfully so, being that a lot of them win, with that last name. Um, but I actually like Kakramanov here. He's been super impressive in his UFC tenure so far. Only 2 fights. Um, he took on Trevin Jones in his first fight. Looked really good. Ended up finishing him, and I believe he took that on short notice. And then his last time out, he just completely grapple fucked Ronnie Lawrence. I mean, just tossed him around for 3 minutes. Completed a ridiculous amount of takedowns, and usually it's Ronnie Lawrence doing that to his opponent. So I like the grappling, the pace, and the cardio of Kakramanov. He's going to be at a striking disadvantage here. Nurmagomedov is slick on the feet, but Nurmagomedov throws a ton of spinning attacks that just kind of leaves him open to being clinched up and taken down. And we saw in his last fight against an elder in Douglas de Silva, de Andrade, he kind of slowed down in that fight, whereas Kakramanov has been putting a pace in all of his fights, and he doesn't even seem tired in the end. And to top it off, one of his losses is against Umar Nurmagomedov, and that was by far Umar's Nurmagomedov's most tough test yet to date. He's been just dominating everyone in the UFC. Um, so although Saeed Nurmagomedov is gonna have the striking advantage, I just favor the it's not like Saeed Yukub is just like a slouch on the feet. He has good striking, but I just favor the well-roundedness of Kakramanov, and I think you put a pace on Nurmagomedov. So I'm gonna go with Kakramanov. That's the pick. And did I say the line? It's pretty much a pick on the line. Yeah, it's a pick 'em. And the best bet's going to be Kakramanov on the money line at minus 110. Next, we have Julian Marquez taking on Duran Win. Um, I guess you could say this is a binary fight because Duran Win pretty much does one thing, and that's wrestle. He's the wrestling advantage. This guy's short and stout, man. Let's take a look at his height. I think he's like 5 foot. Could he be 5'7" at this weight class? 5'6". Oh my God, even worse. But yeah, he's a wrestler. Takes attempts completes 4.28 takedowns um, per 15 minutes. So he's definitely going to take down Julian Marquez, who has a 53% takedown defense. But Marquez is dangerous. I mean, I think he has a 100% finish rate. Let's see, and he's fought some decent guys. I mean, he got just stomped in his last fight out against Gregory Rodriguez. But Rodriguez is a big dude and a really powerful striker. Yeah, Marquez has 100% finish rate, 6 by knockout, 3 by submission, and he's only been knocked out once. And that was in that Rodriguez fight. Prior to that, he's excuse me. Prior to that, he's been historically pretty durable. So um, I'm gonna favor Marquez in this fight. He's just the more dangerous guy on the feet and with the jiu-jitsu. He's had some, like I said, some sneaky jiu-jitsu. Um, he's a durable guy. He's always looking for the finish. He's just like chaining together different submissions. Um, and you know that he's going to get an opportunity to try and lock in a submission with all the wrestling that Duran Wynn's going to do. Duran Wynn has been finished twice, 2 out of his 3 losses, one by finish, which Phil Hawes just pieced him up in his last fight, and he's also been submitted by Gerald Mearshart. So the pick's going to be Marquez, and the best bet's going to be Marquez inside the distance. You never know; he can knock him out, or he could submit him. Okay, next we have Jake Matthews taking on Matthew Semmelsberger. This is going to be a quick one. The last fight. The line in the last fight, Marquez is a minus 170 favorite, and Duran Win is a plus 145 underdog. Um, yeah, Matthews and Semmelsberger. Jake Matthews is a pretty big favorite, currently sitting at, let's see, minus 250, with Semmelsberger coming about plus 200. This is going to be a quick one. I just think that Matthews does everything better. He's just a better version of Semmelsberger. He's like the more refined version. He's got the experience and the of a level of competition advantage. If you look at Matthews' wins and losses, he does really well against predominant strikers, and he struggles against guys that grapple. Let's take a look at his losses. Even his last loss, who did he take on? He took on Brady, Sean Brady. Yeah, I mean the guy's a stud grappler. Just lost to Bilal Muhammad, but he was undefeated before that. We saw Jake Matthews just pieced up Andre Fialho. He was on a pretty good win streak. I mean, he got submitted by Anthony Rocco Martin. Um, Matthews beat the Leech unanimously, and I think the Matthews can implement the wrestling as well. He actually is the better wrestler here as well. So, like I said, I just think that Matthews is the better fighter all around. And so the pick's gonna be Matthews. Best bet is Matthews on the money line. Solid parlay piece. So next up we have Cheyenne Vlismas taking on Corey McKenna. Um, it's a decent women's fight. I feel like with some of these WMMA fights, it's just kind of safe to take the bigger, more athletic fighter, and that's Cheyenne Vlismas here. This matchup is binary as it gets, striker versus grappler. Cheyenne has the clear advantage in the striking department, definitely the speed advantage. She also has a substantial reach advantage of 5 inches. She's a more athletic fighter for sure, and she has good cardio. McKenna is shown to be, a decent grappler, but if you're a predominant grappler and you can't beat someone like Elise Reed, who I think has the worst grappling defense in the UFC, then I just can't consider you a good grappler. Um, so Vlismas versus Montserrat Ruiz was a concern, but you know Ruiz was able to hit that same exact takedown every single time. It was like that big brother head and arm trip. So it was kind of unorthodox. And Ruiz looks a lot stronger than someone like McKenna, who utilizes like traditional, single, double leg attempts with her takedowns, which Felicitous is much more proficient at defending by evidence of her last fight against Mallory Martin, who's actually a decent wrestler. So I just think that if Cheyenne can keep this on the feet for the majority of the fight, then she can easily coast to a clear unanimous decision or get the finish. You never know. And the line is currently sitting at minus 190 on Cheyenne. She kind of got hit pretty hard earlier in the week, and McKenna plus 160. So the pick is going to be Vlismas money line, and the best bet is going to be Vlismas money line. Next, we have Mikhail Oleschychuk taking on Cody Brundage. The line is currently sitting at, let's see, Mikhail's a pretty big favorite, minus 275. Brundage plus 230. Brundage is taking this fight on short notice, and I like Oleschychuk here. He's super aggressive in round one, and he's found a lot of success recently in round one, so he has no reason to change his plan of action. Brundage is also aggressive, but can be finished. I mean, we saw in his last few fights, he was hurt in round one, specifically by Dalcha, who doesn't have the best fight IQ and shot a takedown and got choked out right after. Um, but in his middleweight debut, Mikhail looked super good. It's definitely a better weight for him. He's shown lapses in his grappling defense, but that's against much, much bigger dudes like Jimmy Crute, who completed 8 of his 10 takedowns. Um, so I just like Oleschychuk here. I think he's going to knock him out in the first round. So the pick is going to be him, and the best bet is going to be Oleschychuk by round one knockout. I don't think the line is out on that yet, but hopefully it's 2-1 or better. Next fight we have Bobby Green taking on Drew Dober. Really good fight here. Solid matchmaking. Two veterans of the sport going at it. Bobby Green's the underdog around plus 130. Drew Dober coming back minus 150, minus 155. I like Bobby Green here. Um, he's been in the UFC for a while. He's slick with his striking. I mean, he's fought the best of the best, and just listen to some of his stats. He's an awesome striking differential. Plus, he has strikes landed 5.88 to strikes absorbed 3.65. So he's really, really slick on the feet. He's defensively sound. And he's at an underdog price, which is solid. So Bobby's output has known to increase across 3 rounds. We saw that in his last fight or a couple fights ago against. Let's see, who was that? Oh, that was almost 4 fights ago. Rafael Fiziev. 3rd round, he completely outstruck him in a solid striker. Both guys are super super durable. I think you'd have to easily give Dober the power advantage, but Bobby's really never there to be hit. He rolls and avoids punches really well. His movement makes him super super hard to hit. And in this matchup, you got to give Bobby the wrestling advantage. I think it's going to largely play out on the feet, but if someone's going to shoot takedowns, it's going to be Bobby. He's completed a ton of takedowns in the UFC. And I just think that Drew Dober is there to be hit, and with Bobby Green's unorthodox style on the feet, it's tough to see where his punches have come. So I think he's going to piece up Drew Dober. I think another solid spot is going to be the over 2.5 rounds. But for me, the best bet, the pick's going to be Bobby Green. The best bet's going to be Green on the money line at an underdog price. Next, we have Alex Caceres taking on Julian Erosa. Caceres is the underdog, sitting at let's see, plus 140. Erosa favorite at minus 165. Um, the pick's gonna be Erosa here. I just think he's bigger. He has crazy output, some grappling upside. We've seen Caceres submitted a number of times, and just overall finishing upside. He finishes a ton of his fights. You know, Rosa usually loses when he gets hurt or knocked out, but Caceres isn't the guy to be. He really isn't much of a power threat. Um, so this one's gonna be quick. The pick's gonna be Erosa, and the best bet will be Erosa on the money line. Next, we have Amir Albazi taking on UFC newcomer Alessandro Costa, who made his debut on the Contender Series. Costa is coming in on short notice here. The line is very wide. Albazi's coming in at minus 450, minus 500, and Costa is a plus 360 underdog. So I actually think the line is justified here. I think Albazi's a stud. You know, he's really good prospect. Striking isn't the best, but it's definitely serviceable. His jiu-jitsu is just sick. I mean, he's you know hasn't fought the best level of competition in the UFC. He has 3 fights in the UFC. The best guy he's fought is Zhalgas Zumagulov, who doesn't have the best UFC record, but we all know he won more fights than he actually lost. He kind of got screwed by the judges. But anyway, I think what's most impressive is Albazi submitted 2 guys which are really who are really good grapplers, Malcolm Gordon and Francisco Figueiredo. You know, they're not the best overall fighters, but we even saw a guy like Malcolm Gordon, you know, reverse the prospect Muhammad Makayev in his last fight and actually put up a really good fight. You know, and then we saw Albazi submit him in the first round via triangle choke, and then he submitted Francisco Figueiredo in the first round as well. So Albazi is grappling just on another level. You know, Costa seems to be a decent flyweight with good power, but level of competition is just very questionable, and he's low volume. So pick's gonna be Albazi, and I think he's a solid parlay piece. Um, if that price is too wide for you, I'd take a look at the Albazi sub price. Next, we have Arman Sarukian taking on Damir Ismagulov. Another fantastic fight. This could be headliner. Easily could be headline a fight night card. We have Sarukian is currently the minus 190 favorite. Damir Ismagulov coming back plus 160. So this one is a tough fight to call. I think the line should be way closer to a pick'em. Um, I'm actually going to pick Ismagulov in this fight just because of how well-rounded he is. You know, he's great cardio. Definitely has a striking advantage. I mean, we just saw Ismagulov, go toe-to-toe with a guy like um, Guram Kudadladze, who's a fantastic striker. So we know that Ismagulov's a solid striker, and he has good wrestling. Um, but on the other hand, Sarukian is definitely going to be the best wrestler that he's fought. Sarukian's younger. Definitely really a tough fight to call. But we saw that Ismagulov has um, a similar takedown defense of 90% to Gamrot, who has the same percentage, and Sarukian kind of struggled to take him down. So I just think that if Sarukian can't get his grappling going here, he's going to be in trouble on the feet. Although he's not a terrible striker, I just think the boxing Ismagulov is just sharp. So the pick's going to be Ismagulov. If you're the type of person that likes to play, you know, money line and straight bets, I would take him on the money line at plus 160. For me, the best bet is going to be the over 2.5 or the fight goes to distance, which actually can be found on DraftKings currently at minus 170. I think there's value there. I think the over 2.5 is a parlay piece. I just don't see this one finishing. Okay, next we have the main event. Jared Cannonier taking on Sean Strickland. Um, this one's a tough one to call. The line here indicates that it's basically a pick 'em. Cannonier is a slight underdog. The pick's gonna be Strickland here. I just like his volume, really good output. He's durable. I mean, we know he caught that left hook against Alex Pereira in his last fight, but besides that, the only person that knocked him out was who was it? Capoeira guy. It was a spinning kick. Blanking on his name. Dos Santos. Yeah. But besides that, he actually is defensively sound. Strickland is, and he has good striking defense, good cardio, and in this fight he's the grappling upside. But Cannonier has looked solid. I mean, I know he lost to Adesanya, but that's not a big deal, obviously. I think the line is close for a reason. It's a tough fight to call. I'm going to side with Strickland because I know he's going to, so the output's going to be there, and I like his defensive striking. You got to give the power advantage to Cannonier, but if he doesn't catch him, I think that Strickland's going to win the decision. So the pick is going to be Strickland, and the best bet is going to be actually the over 2.5 rounds. You could probably get like that at an alternate price on something like DraftKings if you're able to get that. If you don't have access to that, I'd take Strickland on the money line. So that about does it. If you liked the video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to give any feedback or post your picks, just post them in the comment section. All right, good luck.